You sit down to work. You open the laptop. You stare at the screen for 10 minutes and nothing happens. You blame your coffee. You blame your phone. You blame a lack of discipline. But the real answer is far stranger. Your focus was never sitting still in the first place. It was built to move. For most of human history, the brain didn't work at a desk. It worked on foot. Following tracks. Scanning a horizon. Deciding, in real time, which direction held food and which direction held danger. That kind of thinking wasn't a bonus feature. It was survival. And the strange part is, your brain still runs that same ancient program every single day, whether you're walking through a savanna or scrolling through a spreadsheet. Here's the reframe. Concentration was never meant to happen while your body is frozen. It was meant to happen while your body is moving through space, gathering information, staying alert. Sitting still for 8 hours is a modern invention. Your brain never got the memo. So what actually happens when you walk? Blood flow increases to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and sustained attention. Oxygen and glucose delivery go up. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine rise, the same chemicals that sharpen focus and mood. This isn't folk wisdom. It's measurable. In 2014, researchers Marilia Pezzo and Daniel Schwartz at Stanford ran a series of experiments testing creative thinking during walking versus sitting. Their finding was almost embarrassingly simple. Walking, indoors or outdoors, boosted creative output by an average of 60% compared to sitting. Not a small edge. A massive one. And the effect didn't fade the moment people sat back down. Some of the boost carried over into the following minutes of stillness. Why would something this basic have such a large effect? Because your brain evolved to process information while your legs were doing the work of survival. Think about your ancestors moving across open land, tracking animals, watching weather, remembering which trees bore fruit last season. That kind of navigation required constant, low-level engagement of attention networks. Not the tense, forced focus of staring at a screen. A wider, looser kind of attention. Anthropologist and evolutionary theorist Daniel Lieberman, who has spent decades studying human endurance and movement, argues that the human body is built for a specific kind of activity: long, moderate, repetitive motion. Walking and light jogging weren't exceptions to daily life. They were daily life. Lieberman's research suggests that many of the physiological systems we associate with modern health, including brain function, were shaped by this expectation of near-constant low-intensity movement. Here's where it gets stranger. Your brain doesn't just tolerate movement. It seems to need it in order to organize itself. Neuroscientist John Ratey, in his research on exercise and the brain, describes movement as something close to fertilizer for neurons. Physical activity increases levels of a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often shortened to BDNF. Think of BDNF as a kind of maintenance crew for your brain. It helps neurons grow, strengthens the connections between them, and protects existing ones from decline. Ratey has pointed out that even short bouts of moderate exercise, the kind you'd get from a brisk 20-minute walk, can measurably raise BDNF levels and improve performance on tasks requiring attention and memory shortly afterward. So the walk isn't just clearing your head. It's chemically preparing your brain to focus. Now here's the counterintuitive twist. You'd think the answer is simple: walk more, focus more. But it isn't quite that clean. The type of movement matters. High-intensity exercise, the kind that leaves you breathless and monopolizes your attention on your own effort, doesn't produce the same cognitive boost. Neither does movement paired with heavy mental load, like sprinting while solving a math problem in your head. The sweet spot researchers keep landing on is moderate, rhythmic, low-effort movement. Walking. Not racing. Not straining. Just moving steadily enough that your body handles the mechanics on autopilot while your mind is freed up to wander, connect ideas, and reset. This is also why so many writers, scientists, and thinkers throughout history swore by walking as a tool, not a break from work, but part of the work itself. Charles Darwin famously walked a set gravel path near his home every day, sometimes multiple times, using the rhythm of it to think through problems he couldn't solve at his desk. That habit wasn't eccentric. It was, in hindsight, remarkably aligned with what modern neuroscience now confirms. So why does this feel so counterintuitive today? Because modern work culture treats stillness as productivity and movement as a distraction. Sitting at a desk looks like effort. Walking around looks like avoidance. But your nervous system doesn't share that judgment. It doesn't care what looks productive. It cares what actually restores its ability to concentrate. And by that measure, 20 minutes on your feet can outperform an hour hunched over a screen, chasing focus that keeps slipping away. Here's the modern mirror. You've probably felt this without naming it. The idea that hits you in the shower. The solution that surfaces on a walk to grab coffee, not while you were trying to force it at your desk. That's not a coincidence, and it's not magic. It's your prefrontal cortex finally getting the blood flow, the neurotransmitters, and the loose attentional state it was designed to have while your ancestors were on the move, scanning the world, letting their minds wander just enough to make connections a stationary brain never would. Consider what your day actually looks like. Wake up. Sit for breakfast. Sit in the car or on the train. Sit at a desk. Sit for lunch. Sit some more. By evening, your brain has spent almost the entire day in a state it was never built to sustain. No wonder focus feels like something you have to fight for. You've removed the one variable that used to make it available almost automatically. The fix isn't complicated, and that might be the most surprising part of all. You don't need a treadmill desk. You don't need to run marathons. You need roughly 20 minutes, moving at a pace where you could still hold a conversation, ideally before or in the middle of the task that requires your sharpest thinking. Apezzo and Schwartz's research suggests the benefits appear almost immediately and linger for a while after you stop. Rady's work suggests the underlying brain chemistry is primed within that same short window. You are not looking for a lifestyle overhaul. You are looking for a walk around the block. There's something almost humbling in that. We built productivity apps, focus playlists, nootropic supplements, and elaborate morning routines to chase something our bodies were engineered to hand us for free, simply by moving the way they were designed to move. Ask yourself the next time concentration refuses to come. Are you actually out of focus? Or are you simply sitting still, waiting for a brain that was built to think on its feet? You sit down to work. You open the laptop. And this time, before you stare at the screen for another 10 minutes, you stand up, and you walk. Because the real answer was never stranger than that. It was simpler.